Hello, my name is Anna and I would like to describe my submission for a technical competition for track 5 about AI tutoring. My geographic focus is Ukraine because I'm Ukrainian, and my prediction is that by the end of 2028, the quality of AI tutoring will match the quality of human tutoring in Ukraine, and the probability of that is 70%. It's quite an optimistic prediction and I'm aware of it, but I do think that the state of current technology already shows us that it can be effective enough to match human tutoring effectiveness. The studies by DeepMind and Harvard and also World Bank have shown that human tutoring combined with AI tutoring delivers the best results, but also AI tutoring alone can improve learning gains significantly, especially for students who don't have access to any other tutors. However, there is also a caveat to it, of course, that the technology and the way AI tutoring is implemented is very important. So the AI should not just be giving answers, it should have Socratic guardrails. And an example of such implementation would be a Hanmigo chatbot or AI tutor implemented by Han Academy, which actually does not give the answers to the students. It asks them questions and helps them guide their thinking. So when it comes to AI tutoring effectiveness, while it can be effective as per studies, there is an if in that effectiveness, a condition that must hold, which is it has to be implemented with learning science in mind. Just giving answers can actually deteriorate learning as, again, per studies, because the students learn to rely on AI, over-rely on AI, and they kind of not learn how to think themselves. Another technological condition would be that AI tutoring has to be embedded in the future into the existing school workflows. If we want high adoption in Ukraine as well, it has to be embedded into existing tools, existing workflows, so that adoption is not voluntary and it's as easy as possible. When it comes to institutional conditions, there are also multiple things that must hold. For me, the most important institutional condition, and I also pointed it out in the essay, is enabling teachers and tutors to upskill themselves to use AI tutoring. And a part of that is building partnerships with companies that can provide high quality tech training and upskilling. And politically, of course, the ideal condition would be for the full-scale war to end. But if that's not possible, that would still not be a blocker to this 70% likelihood, because even if the war keeps going, Ukraine still can leverage LLMs and it still can leverage AI tutoring, but there is a condition that must hold, which is having on-device compute, so having access to LLMs offline. And that's important because currently Ukrainian students experience 4 to 18 hours of power outages every day. So it's very hard to study if everything depends on online. So for AI tutoring to reach that 70% in Ukraine and adoption as well, Ukraine has to establish partnerships, continue establishing partnerships with Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and the other tech companies that can, first of all, support LLM development, and Google is already doing that, support LLM development, SLM, small language model development, because these models would be able to run on devices instead of running in the cloud. And second, Ukraine has to establish partnerships with companies that produce devices with neural processing units, because these devices allow to run AI engines on the device itself. Finally, when it comes to implications, there were questions about democratization, equity, and the future of tutoring profession, and all very interesting questions, I think, because if AI tutoring does reach that 70% of human quality and also high adoption, then that means that, well, the access to education would be democratized, and students in frontline regions who might have lost their teachers would have access to an AI tutor, same as a student somewhere in the capital. And when it comes to tutoring profession, I think that the tutoring role would just evolve. So the profession would stay, but the role of the tutor would not be to deliver content, but actually to provide this social, emotional guidance, recognizing when the students are confused versus frustrated, and supporting the students. Thank you for listening to me. My prediction is 70%. It's quite high, but I'm quite optimistic because Ukraine has been successful in implementing digital transformation during the revolutions and the full-scale war. So Ukraine can deliver technology. The question is what kind of technology and whether the partnerships are in place.